What's up, everybody, and welcome to Reviews for My Kids, the show where I recap, review, and reminisce on all of the things I've grown to love over the years to not only share with my kids, but with you as well. Kids, today we're diving into another episode of Doug, who goes from being totally clueless about music to rocking out with the greatest band from Bluffington. Let's get into it. Friendship, fandom, and a little bit of Rockin' Roger. Let's break down the episode of Doug Rocks.
Dear Journal, it's me, Doug. You know, I used to be the only guy in Bluffington without a favorite band.
The episode kicks off with Doug and his loyal dog Porkchop walking through the neighborhood to Skeeter's house. As they reach his room, they're greeted by the sound of blaring rock music. Inside, Skeeter's on his bed, completely immersed in the music, air guitaring like a rock legend and wearing a wild 70s-style wig. Doug stands there, both amused and confused. Skeeter excitedly introduces Doug to the band behind the music, The Beats, his all-time favorite group. Their latest song, Killer Tofu, blasts from the speakers as Skeeter passionately jams along. When Doug hesitantly asks, "Who are the Beats?" Skeeter dramatically repeats the question in disbelief, as if Doug just asked who Oxygen was. Doug looks on, even more bewildered, realizing just how out of the loop he really is. Skeeter tells Doug that he will like the Beats once he tells him the band's history. While playing air guitar with Skeeter, Doug imagines himself playing with the Beats. As Skeeter teaches Doug air guitar, Doug becomes a real beatnik. While walking outside, the friends run into Mr. Dink, who introduces them to his digital synchronized audio compactor, which smashes a CD worth of songs into one fantastically loud sound. Very expensive. He turns it on, and the loud sound blows everyone away. Mr. Dink then informs that it's the work of Ludwig van Beethoven, or Begaarden as he pronounces. Later, Doug and Skeeter sit on Skeeter's front porch reading a magazine cover of The Beats when Roger comes around and tells the two the good news and the bad news. The good news is that the Beats are playing a surprise concert in Bluffington tonight, while the bad news is that the tickets are already sold out and Roger got the last two. When Roger turns on the radio, announcer Cade Bluff announces that the person who calls in and answers 3 trivia questions will win 2 front-row Beats seats. So, Skeeter calls to answer the questions. The Beats' first #1 single was "I Sneezed on My Face." The name of the lead singer, Wendy Nespa's pet fruit bat, is Gigi Amici. And the Beats album that shows a microscopic picture of Chap Lippman after his gallbladder surgery is Beats Me, which Doug unwittingly answers. And Doug and Skeeter win the front row tickets to the concert. During dinner, Skeeter excitedly plays his music at the table, frustrating his dad. When Skeeter accidentally causes a bowl of gravy to fall on his father, he loses his temper and grounds him, forbidding him to go to the concert. Roger attempts to take Doug with him to the concert, and Skeeter sadly tells Doug to go with Roger as he shouldn't be punished too. Doug imagines Skeeter sitting in front of the TV by his lonesome while everyone else is at the concert. Doug refuses to leave his friend while he's on punishment. His father, though, was unaware that Skeeter was still having friends over, so Roger goes to the concert by himself instead. Doug, Skeeter, and Porkchop pretend that they are at the concert and get a vicarious experience that way. When Skeeter's father realizes that he was listening to music in defiance of his punishment, he furiously kicks him out of the house. The 3 friends go to the Honker Burger, only to find out that it's closed, but they continue to imagine themselves at the concert, playing their fake instruments. They then get a surprise of a lifetime and find the Beats arriving at the Honker Burger, and soon they all start jamming together.
The Beats!
Oh, you've heard of us.
As the band leave in their tour bus, they offer the friends Beats jackets, much to their excitement. Roger then arrives and brags about the concert. He explains that he saw them in person, although through his binoculars, and adds that he was closer to the band than they were, not knowing that Doug and Skeeter have met the band in person when they arrived at the Honker Burger. Doug, Skeeter, and Porkchop continue jamming and laughing away. Later, Doug is in his room writing his latest event in his journal, singing away to his favorite band, The Beats.
This episode was peak Doug. Music, friendship, and just a little bit of Roger being a pain. And we are finally introduced to The Beats! One of the most memorable and iconic additions to the show. The Beats are an obvious nod to the incredibly popular British band, The Beatles.
The Beats are certainly inspired by the Beatles, but it's also the Rolling Stones, The Who, and many other groups, Jenkins said. Some of the ways they're drawn remind me of Robert Plant, Ringo Starr. Our drummer, Chap Lippman, kind of talks like Ringo. It's a mixed bag of those exotic British invasion bands.
When you discuss the show Doug with others and the world building it created, having a nod to arguably one of, if not the greatest band of all time, will certainly help make your show remain memorable. The Beats will make many future appearances in this series with catchy tunes that we can all recite. Not only does this episode capture the essence of what it feels like for a kid to find their musical interests, but most importantly, how it happens through good friendship. I give this episode 4 Beat members and a Honker Burger Shake. It's without a doubt a classic episode with the debut of Doug's favorite band. And remember, when in doubt, just shout, Killer Tofu! EI! Kids, growing up, this type of event would no joke happen to me one fateful summer day when hanging out with my best buds Raz and Zuba by my pool. Okay, maybe it didn't happen exactly how it happened to Doug. I didn't meet my favorite band, but I was introduced to them. The summer prior to sophomore year of high school went something kind of close to like this. Wake up, unlock the front door, grab a box of cereal, and plop myself on the couch while flipping through channels and spooning mouthfuls of Cocoa Puffs into my gut. Then, shortly after, both Raz and Zuba would come trouncing in from early morning football practice. I was much more of a b-ball guy, but we'll talk about that later. Where we would hang out until it was time to head out to the pool. Literally, for hours on end, for practically every day of the summer, we would hang out at the pool, blast all kinds of music, and played water b-ball, coin game, and practiced our WWE wrestling moves, then ordered pizza with the money Mom left us on the table. One day, Zuba would bring over the Californication CD by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. This would no doubt change my life with regards to music. There are moments in your life when things happen that just change the makeup of your personality, and hearing the Red Hot Chili Peppers for the first time while hanging out with my 2 best buds by the pool, that was certainly one of them. Without a doubt, there are likely many times that I've played music from the Red Hot Chili Peppers for you kids, and who knows what music will impact you kids as you grow older. But hopefully, you too will have great friends who will shape your musical interests the same way my friends shaped mine. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Reviews for My Kids, the show where I recap, review, and reminisce on all of the things I've grown to love over the years to not only share with my kids, but with you as well. Tune in next time. Bye!